All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Sorry for keeping you all waiting. Lucy and I were wrapping up our planning meeting for the finishing school, but let's get right into it. Let me welcome you all to another episode of Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy, where we believe the older women should teach the young. Lucy and I are just mature women who married young, and that's what we promote. So we like to come on here with you all a couple times a week and give our take on topics that impact women that want relationships from our 40 years of combined marriage experience. So, Lucy, if you would please, you can say hello to everyone. And then I actually have a video that we're going to be reacting to today.
Hello, Maggie. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to make a little bit of I don't know if it's a commentary or an opinion on some of the comments that we've received, especially on TikTok. TikTok can be, I don't know, they get the freedom to say whatever they want to say. And I want to say that a woman that's over 40, somebody said, you're over 40, you don't know nothing about the dating scene. I can tell you that I do know about the dating scene. I've been married twice. The first time 11 years. It didn't work out for many reasons. My second time around, that's my forever time. I've been married for 17 years, together for 20 years. And I think we as older women, married older women, can give you a perspective that not too many young people get in the modern world. So if you don't want to hear from older people, you don't have to be here. So, and if you're going to have some constructive criticism in the comments, please let them be constructive and not, you're 40, what do you know? So again, I appreciate you, younger participants being here. But if you're going to comment things that are just, there's no responding to something like that. This is probably not your cup of tea, and we don't need those really negative, constructive comments in the comments section.
Well, and there you have it. I also got raked over the coals this week, and I can take correction. So a little confession on my end, and then, we'll just give you all our take. And again, this is our little corner of the internet. We always say, it doesn't apply to everyone. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But we are here for the younger women who still want a traditional relationship, even in these modern times. And ladies, this is the perspective that you do get from older women. Lucy and I remember when we were young, but at this phase of life, you're going to want something probably very different from what you might be going after today. So I just encourage women that want relationship to prioritize it while you have your leverage, because unfortunately, what we see now is a lot of women wait until they're not at their prime and then try to ask for something that they should have prioritized, let's just say decades ago. And, being older and having that lived experience, it just comes from, this is what has worked for hundreds and for thousands of years. And I would just say, we always give you the disclaimers, do whatever you want to do. Lucy has told me we are set. We have our relationships, we're here until we're not. But if you can learn something, if this is helpful, I always say, if your mother didn't teach you how to be a good woman to a good man, and you're just out here figuring it out, maybe you can learn something. And then lastly, I'll say this before I share my confessional. Ladies, we don't have a lot of various dating experience precisely because we married young. When you marry in your early to mid 20s, you skip over a lot of what's going on out here. So I'm actually proud to say we don't have a lot of various dating experience. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, we haven't even gotten into the video yet, but the men that you want don't want you to have a whole bunch of experiences with other people. So you are correct. Whoever said that, and I don't know who you are, but those of you all who want to be professional daters, those of you all who want to keep a roster, those of you all who want to be a woman but move like a man, this is not the place for you. And I mean that with love. Doesn't make you a bad person, but everything that we promote here is going to be contrary to what you are choosing to do. That's fine. But remember, when you're almost 50 and almost 60, that's the path that you chose. So don't come crying with your hair on fire, asking a man to rescue you from all the damage that you've done. He's not going to take it. So that is the perspective that we come from. We have older men who we listen to, and dare I say, that younger men listen to. So again, we're here for those of you all who still want marriage and family and want to prioritize that. It's not everybody, and that's okay. My man has told me, you and Lucy have done enough. If you helped one, you guys are good. So I think we've helped more than one. And so my disclaimer this week, or my confession this week, we posted a video, which was a clip of the Susan Banker chat where she was saying, allow him to chase you. And I got raked over the coals for the word chase. And I understand, gentlemen, we hear you. You do not chase women. We do make ourselves available, and then you pick from your selection. So allow me to humbly say, I think in that example, the word chase means that we as women do not lead in relationships. We allow the man to pursue us. And I just think, again, with everything that has happened, and now things are out of order in a lot of ways, people got triggered by the word chase. But yes, the men that are relationship ready and can offer a relationship have a lot to offer. Their work speaks for itself. And you all have told me loud and clear, and I hear you. You do not chase, you choose. So let me humbly apologize. And let's get into today's video. But yeah, so we are actually reviewing a video that mean old Mister sent to me. So you all get to hear a little bit of his perspective. This one is titled, I think it's a clip from a larger interview. So it's only a 5-minute video, but it is so powerful because a man, Lawrence Aja, is speaking, and he says, if people could do this, more people would be married. So if you're interested in marriage and long term, I think this is going to be a good one for us. So I shared this video with Lucy, and she said, let's discuss it on Saturday. All right, so let's see who we have in the chat. If y'all are still okay, if nobody's crying. Let's continue on. We got Jurgen in here from across the pond. Sorry to keep you waiting. We were meeting with the ladies. And again, we have our next class and our last class for a while because we've got a lot of in-person events coming up. The wife lessons starts a week from today. So ladies, if you like what you hear today and you want private teaching from Lucy and I, we have a 4-week class coming up called Wife Archetypes. We're going to talk about what is required from the men that you want if you want marriage and long term. And then also all are welcome at the Maggie Lou meetup, which is coming up Friday, April 4th, here in Atlanta at Eclipse de Luna. You can get your tickets at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. All right, so let's see who we have here. Jurgen says, today's youth think they know everything, but in reality, they are often nothing but I won't say that word, but they have an opportunity to do better. So yes, but look, I give the young people grace because as a reformed modern woman, I remember being headstrong. I still have a lot of that personality, but I have learned to channel it in a way that's productive. I've learned to listen more than I speak. And, young people, the older people around you were once young. All right. So you are not new. You are not special. We've all been there. Choose to learn from our experiences or your own. That's fine. Jasmine is here. Mom, what's for dinner? Says, love you, ladies. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Discipled One says, good evening, ladies. We got C. Irving in the house saying greetings. All right. So everybody good? Let's go on into the video and let's see what we can learn from today.
The photos, so you could show all the things, the achievements, look what I've achieved. People become achievements. So as I always said that if no one could show their spouse, more people would be married. Because now if your spouse is a validation of what you've achieved, then there's only certain people you'll be with. It's almost like saying, I will only drive a Porsche.
Bro, say that again. Yeah. Say that again. Yeah. Say that again.
If your spouse is a validation of your achievement, then there's only but so many type of people you want to be with. If it's a resume builder, this spouse validates that I'm beautiful. So now, for example, imagine if I'm a young lady where in my life I felt that no one thought I was beautiful, but now I'm considering someone to partner with, right? So think about it in every other area of my life, and this applies to brothers too. I get, I'm successful. I have the markers of success. I got the range, right? I live in Alpine, New Jersey, right? I'm wearing the Louboutin, the red bottoms, boom. I got the hair flowing. I got the pictures, the airbrushed, whitewashed, photos on Instagram. I got all that, link in bio. I got all of that. That is the last piece. So it can't just be that I'm getting the Stacey Allen, or I'm getting the Zara shoes. Because people don't know what the Zara shoes are, but they know what the Louboutin is when I put the red bottom on.
All right, y'all. I just want to hold for a moment because, again, this is a 5-minute clip of a larger interview. But to me, this is fascinating. And I've been asked, some people say, will we ever, meet old Mr.? That is for a very select few. And the answer is no. So here's the question, ladies. If you heard him, he said, if your spouse didn't have to be a success marker for your life, more people would be married if we didn't feel like we needed to showcase our significant other for the world to see. So ladies, what can we learn from this? Mino Mr. said, your husband is not one of your things. Your spouse is not one of your things. Your kids are not one of your things. So if you do not know how to protect his privacy, if you do not know how to hold some things close to you, you should not be draping your relationship across the internet unless he was already doing that before you met him. So if he was a public figure and he was all over social media and you all were, and now you're this couple and that's what you do, that's fine if that's what you all do. But he's using the example of all these other, I got to drive this type of car so people know I'm successful. I got to wear this type of shoe so people know I'm successful. So if you showcase your spouse, then you open yourself up for people to say, that's all you got? Or he looks like that? Or he's this height? Or he's this job? Or whatever. And he said, if more people would be married if we didn't showcase, because now you got to answer to other people who do not live your life, who do not care about you, about the selection you made for a life mate. I think it's fascinating. What would you add, Lucy?
So true. And for the most part, men are very territorial. They like their own thing. As a woman, we need to protect them. So the more you showcase them, the more you go, they're out there because you're so happy that your husband looks this way or he gives you this. There are other, again, I know this is a woman thing, but I do believe it because I come from a third world country too. There's something called like the el mal de ojo, which is the bad eye. It's like the bad kind of like juju that people could have if they start seeing all of your success. Unfortunately, jealousy and envy is a very powerful thing. And if you start showing it off to everybody, you're going to have those people that have nothing else to do start doing their own investigations and maybe just tainting your life because of that desire for others, for you not to succeed.
Such a good point. So I'm going to come to what you all are saying in the comments. Aaron on Instagram says, that's why you keep your life out of the eyes. But that's true. You may hear it, the evil eye. We have it in African culture. I know it's in Indian culture. When I was in Greece, like there is the belief, and I'm not saying you got to be all hoo-hoo, ha-ha, or superstitious, but Lucy is right. Ladies, not everybody wants you to win. Most people don't, because it's a reflection on them of their life choices. So it is very important that you protect, because not everybody has good intentions for you. I have talked to women who were totally fine in their relationship and then hang out with certain friends. Well, are you sure he's working late? Why didn't that's all you did for Valentine's Day? Or they start picking stuff apart when you were totally happy. So this is something I tell from my own lived experience. You know, I got a talking to in the beginning because I am genuinely happy for other people when they succeed. And I learned the hard way, not everybody is genuinely happy for you. So at this point, I'm just like, yep, we're good. Nothing to see here. One of my friends said, as far as the internet is concerned, I'm broke and ain't got no man. Her way of saying there is nothing happening over here. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Mom, what's for dinner says it's very true. Oh my goodness. Oh, you all already know what to do. Make it rain, Thane, in the chat. No comment, no question, just the pure love of the work that we do. Thane, we are so incredibly grateful. Your support, your encouragement, your counsel. Wow, I'm really speechless. Thank you. $200. I have no words. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Jurgen says, we have not learned from older people. Today, the young people think they have to teach us. They are unwise and arrogant. And, you know, young people, I love young people. I mean, the mother in me, like, I love young people. And even if you're not, like, I see myself in a lot of young people, especially the young women. That is why Lucy and I do this. Believe me, believe you me, and there will come a time when we won't be here. But it is so easy for us to just go live our life and sail off into the sunset. But we get up and we come do this because we definitely want to make that drop in the bucket. So, you know, young people, tune us out if you want to. It'll circle back. You know, like Lucy said, life has a way of humbling all of us. All right. So you all are saying hello to each other in the chat. Let's see what other comments you have. The Condemn says, I do agree with the concept that people should not put their personal relationships out in public view for privacy reasons, nor compare and contrast relationships. Comparison is the thief of joy. And ladies, ask yourself, like I'm always saying, is there a man, a good man, that either made his intentions known or you had an opportunity with, but you turned him down because what would people think? I'm going to give you all a little story time. Somebody that I know, somebody close to me. She was young and beautiful and was able to enter into the pageant space. And during that time, she had access to the athletes and the entertainers. And she had all of the experiences, got flown out, all of that. But none of them really took her seriously. So when she aged out of that arena, there was a good, hardworking man who really loved her, really made his intentions known. He said, this is what I can do, a good living, modest, but a good living. And I said, he's amazing. I met him, great guy, just wonderful man, really wanted to give her a life. This is what she told me. Because she had been known for dating athletes, what would people think? Her words, it'll look like I stepped down. She is single to this day, 40 plus. And that man that had that good, steady job that could have given her a great suburban life with a family, she has no children, no marriage. Now he is married with a child. And she has to think about that. And the only good reason she gave me that she wouldn't go with this hardworking man who really adored her is because in her mind, showing up with a guy who worked a regular job, a good job, would be a step down from what she had access to. So ladies, ask yourself. And to me, there's nothing worse than regret, especially at our ages, because you do not get a second bite at that apple. You do not get a second chance. If you have a good opportunity and you let other people who are now living their own lives make decisions for you, you deserve what you get, which is nothing. So that was a little bit of story time from Auntie Maggie. Let's see what else y'all are saying in the chat. Mom, what's for dinner says, my husband does not have social media. I only post him on birthdays. Yes, ladies. And here's the thing. You can ask. Just ask. Is it okay? You know, I was told, you know, I used to like to share, oh, this is what I got for a birthday, or this is what I got for a special occasion. And he was like, don't do that. I don't want to. And I was like, but I learned. All right. So, and I'm happier than I've ever been. So you all are saying Thane in the chat. Yes. Lucy says he saved himself a lot of misery. All right, ladies, let's go back in and see what else we can learn.
I can't just get somebody that I may like. I got to get somebody that everybody would say, oh, that's good. And so even or not, whether or not that's attainable, well, you are validating my beauty, my success. So you need to look the part. So now you have people, male and female, saying, there are people that you'd be amazing partner with, amazing husband and wife too. But because there's a thwarted view of yourself, there's a thwarted view. I know society accepts that beauty. I know society accepts that man. I need to be with him. So now the idea that you're telling me that I can't be with that is like saying that I can't go to Harvard. It's like saying that I can't go to these things. It's saying that I can't get the range. I want the best. But we're talking about human beings, but that's the best.
You just summed up the toxic dating culture. And that's why people say there's a lack of available spouses, but that's not the case. You just want something. You don't want a spouse. You just want something to show off or validate you.
That's like somebody saying, you have a car that you could afford. I will, but no, you have $50,000 in your account. No, I'm not going to drive a car unless it is a range. And all subject to it. I'm not just throwing on it. I'm all subject to it. And I think even if you've gotten married, some part of accepting the gray and the messiness of your marriage, the confronting the fact that, wow, this person is a mirror, but they got issues, or they see the issues in me, you know what I mean? Or they're not always. Sometimes you got to reconcile and redeem that even in real time, right? To your point that you asked a question, I think I think it's hurt us so much where we don't see people as humans anymore. Or I think to the point we talked about value. If I have an endowed value to myself, I don't need, or I have a less reliance about outside validation.
So let's talk about this, you all. Social media, a blessing and a curse. Mr. talks to me. He said, do you remember a time when we were growing up, if you had an achievement, would you go knock on everybody's door in the neighborhood and show the picture and tell everything? I'm like, all right, here we go. But you all, social media is a tool. We are using social media to communicate to you all now, but I loved what he said about treating people as human beings. The most important relationship that you're going to have in your life is who you choose as your life partner. And ladies, because we don't do the asking, we don't have as many options as a lot of women will make you believe that we have. Men ask, we accept with grace, or we exit with grace. But I'll tell you, having been married, don't let social media make you think that the best parts of your relationship are going to be the public parts, because everybody can get dressed up. Lucy and I are planning a great event for the ladies, right? Everybody can get dressed up, shined up, have your +1 next to you, photography and all of that. But that's not real life. That is not sustainable. And those of us that do have marriage and long-term relationship experience know that the sweetest moments and the best moments are the private moments between the two of you, when you're doing nothing at all or whatever you want to do. And that isn't for public consumption. Even if you're a public figure, not everything is for public consumption. And I would encourage you, especially those of you who are younger, who don't remember a time before social media, this is not normal. This is not how it's been. Relationships have survived because there's a reason we call it the sanctity of marriage. Okay. So there are some things that should be kept between you. And if you don't know, just ask. But I would implore you, ladies, Respect your man's privacy. Believe me, it may seem tough at first, but you will be happier in the long run. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and sadly, the younger generation has learned how to show off their successes, especially their successful relationship as accessories. You know how these movie people have their little chihuahua in their purse, showing them off as an accessory. Your significant other is your accessory to show off to the world. Come on now, it's about, you don't want that attention to the person that you love. In fact, you want the least attention, because that's the most sacred thing that you have, that is yours. The social media thing has become, it's not normal, like Maggie said, to have a phone and to always be on the phone while you're around your husband. And I have to say, I have to fess up, I suffer from that a lot. And this morning, I was listening to a podcast from The Happy Wife, and she said that that's a type of cheating, because you're not giving your husband the attention that you're giving to this thing while you're doing other things with him. And that made me feel really, that gave me a perspective from my husband, how he's looking at, we're trying to enjoy something, but at the same time, I'm watching the movie while I'm doing social media. So I'm not giving him that whole time with him at that moment. So again, to me, that was something that made me really realize that we are getting into a situation where it's going to be hard to go back to spending time, quality time with each other without that technology.
Such a good point. And ladies, we tell you what we've done right as well as what we've done wrong. I'm guilty for, you all know I love the food content. And sometimes I really should have a meal without this. I'm pretty good in person, but I do like to document things. And, lucky for me, my man understands. But Lucy's right. We don't have tomorrow promised, and you never know how much time that you have. So cherish the ones that you love, especially because, ladies, men are not as talkative as we are. So I stop talking and I listen when my man starts talking. That's what makes me sound smart, believe me. But, just focusing on a virtual world when you have something in the flesh in front of you. We have talked about how much more important respect is to men, and just a little etiquette teaching for you all. When you are in the presence of anyone, you should give your full attention. If you need to do other things, you really should excuse yourself. But to be there on a date or with your man or whatever, and you're doing other things, it's disrespect. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you think you're the power multitasker, but you will learn eye contact and even facing your body and giving your full attention until you need to excuse yourself. So just a little teaching from us here. We can all do better. But to Lucy's point, people aren't accessories. These are not your little toy dogs in the stroller. And even me, I've had a talking to, we had signed Marcus for the Marines months before I even said anything, because that's not my story to tell. And so I waited until he said, you know what, it's fine if you want to share, but just instantly running to give daily updates. Ladies, you end up living your life for other people instead of enjoying the life in the moment. And those are the sweetest moments. Aaron on Instagram says, people have to understand, the more you keep your relationship out of the eyes of people, the more a relationship is going to thrive. Keep people out of your relationship and it will last. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat here. We love bringing you into the conversation. Oh. The Condemned says, today's slang for that woman's situation you define, Maggie, is an alpha widow. She feels like the quality of man is what she deserves since she's so used to it without understanding why. And the sad thing is, the athletes that flew her out and did whatever they did are now settled down and married with their own. And they did not choose her for the long term. So her option to get paired up for life and get out of the dating market, that ship has now sailed. So the athletes have their life. The man who had intentions for her has his life, and she has no one. and she's just working and doing whatever she's doing. And it really makes me sad. But again, it was her choice. Thane, our sponsor, is here saying happy people are too busy to post stuff. And this is a good point, ladies. You have to ask yourself, if you really are sharing everything, trying to shine it up and make it look good, how happy are you really? To me, authenticity is one of my values, and it's really important. Like, if you meet me, this is who I am, flaws and all. You all see me do some things right. You see me do a lot of things wrong. But scroll on your own social media. Go look. If everything is you being perfect, how happy are you really? If you don't want people to know, like, you know what? And I'm not saying you got to go on the internet and cry. We're not saying that, but how happy are you really? Patterson says sometimes people don't feel great about themselves, so they want their partner to be perfect to make them feel better. I had to learn that, and now I know nobody is perfect, including myself. People will grow together. Yes, absolutely. It makes me think of some of the some of the actors that we know, and only because these are common names, but you know, like Denzel, or some people that have a spouse that people will be like, oh, he should have. That man is happy. You know, these people live their life and they are unbothered. And that is my goal. Like I said, I want to be like Lucy when I grow up. Jürgen says, I don't have social media, and a woman for me shouldn't have one either. Okay. Ladies, for a lot of men, this is a requirement. Thane says moments like doggos snoring and shaking the rafters. I think he's talking about somebody whose dogs are her. I think they're like foot warmers for Lucy. Yes. You guys, they were preaching. I'm so glad that this is helpful. Lucy says they're the smoke detectors. Mom, what's for dinner says social media can be the downfall of great relationships. There's always tend to be an ex lurking to rain on the relationship parade, to tell you about your spouse. Best to enjoy in quiet. That right there. Enjoy in quiet. We don't need anybody in the bushes coming out. I'm not going to tell it all, but yes, y'all, sometimes people are watching and waiting to conveniently deliver information that they've been holding on to. And you just have to ask yourself, why now? All right. Whew, let's go back in.
So, for example, growing up, I love relating to this joint. Like, we used to go to people's houses and be like, if they ask you to eat, if they ask you if you're hungry, say no, right? It's almost like, I don't want you walking around here like we don't feed you at the house, right? And so if you're full, you go out to the world less hungry, right? I think there's this dynamic of like, if I'm full with, I am endowed, I am valuable, it's not dependent upon what my boys say, what the people say, this is my wife, she takes good care of me, this are my kids, this is what I could afford, so I'm not gonna get a lease for $900 when I could afford this $200 one, and maybe the Camry, but cool. You make different decisions the more secure you are in who you are, right? And so now you're gonna make a different decision on financial, career. If I really love teaching kids. And I may not have all the Instagrammable stuff like that, but I not just love it, I feel called to it. I'm saying this to myself. Then there's a view of, you know what, man, I love, that woman loves me. She respects me. That's love for men, we know. She respects and honors me. She may not look like, and this is internal thought, I'm not saying we say this publicly. This may not be in your head, but now you're able to make sobering decisions, or my brother cares for me. He may not be making $500K. He may be, but that brother cares for me. He's faithful. And like, we would make so many different decisions if we knew our value. We think we know our value by saying, no, I know my value, that's why I need to have that. No, that actually is evidence that you don't know your value. People don't get married for marriage, they get married for the wedding. The photos, so you could show all the things, the achievement, look what I've achieved. People become achievements. So I always said that if no one could show their spouse, more people would be married.
Oh my goodness. If no one could show their spouse, more people would be married. I'd love to know if you all agree or disagree. And, thinking of confessions too, I struggled with this, not from the showing sense, but I always say I'm happily average, late bloomer. And, Mr., the men that we admire have plenty of options. And sometimes you can worry, well, I'm not that girl, or I'm not like knocked out, knockout gorgeous, but I'm enough for him. I'm what he chose, having all of those options. He chose me for the reasons that he chose me. And so, like he said, I know he's talking to the men in this video, but ladies, we have to really ask ourselves. And I would say, before you get in a relationship, or if you're already in one, what really matters to you? What really is enough? And the older that I get, and that's why we teach from the older woman's perspective, I think what matters is having somebody genuinely emotionally invested in you, care if you are sick, care if something is happening, care for you in a way that that you're not just out here in the world. If you live or die, you don't really matter. And I think a lot of women mistake the attention that they get, especially in their prime years. If you haven't chosen to prioritize relationship, you really think these people are there because they care about you. And how many people, we've seen that in celebrities, when they lose their fortune, all of a sudden people scatter, right? And so all of these people that are clicking like, or that are giving you, compliments or whatever, unfortunately, the truth is they may be waiting in the wings, kind of like, salivating, waiting for there to be trouble in paradise. So the best thing is, and I know this is hard sometimes, but the coaching that I got from my man, he said, babe, just find your center. Don't get too excited about anything. Don't get down in the dumps for anything. Because unfortunately, there are people that are looking for chinks in the armor, looking, well, why is she so happy? I'm happy all the time. But people may be looking to kind of see how they can work their way in, or throw rocks and hide their hands. So, again, it's unfortunate, but it's true. What would it look like if none of us could share our spouses? Some of us choose not to, and I think we're the happier for it. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree, and I like that question that you said, what really matters to you? So I'm thinking, if what matters to you is external validation, then you're certainly not ready to have a relationship. Because again, a relationship is between that man and you, and you got to protect it. You got to keep it, it's a sacred thing, that it really doesn't matter who's out there. That's your thing. That's your thing. That's those discussions, those dreams, those aspirations, those successes. It's between you and that man. The external world, the asteroid could come down, but as long as you're together, sharing those things, sharing that world, really nothing really matters. So that need of having external validation all the time, that's a really scary thing, because again, a man is going to be watching how much attention is she asking for in those posts, in those comments. She's always online. Does she have nothing else to do out there, that she's focusing all her time on social media? So again, it's a thing of maturity. So if you're not ready to not say, no, I'm okay not showing my life to everybody, then you're not ready to have a relationship.
Yeah, such a good point. Not everyone, and I've had to learn this, not everyone is built for a relationship. I'm an optimist. I want everybody to win. I genuinely do. And sometimes it hurts me, because I want things for people oftentimes more than they want it for themselves. And I've had to learn, and Lucy's helped me, and Mr. has helped me, and others have coached me, Maggie, no, you cannot be too invested in people's outcome. Give them the information and let them do with it what they will. But it's true, ladies, not everybody's built for a relationship. Not everybody is a wife. And so if you care more about the photo op, then just know that, and know that you will be maybe that trophy that is taken down, shined up when it's time to be, pranced around, and then you will be put back on the shelf. There are relationships that are like that. That's why Lucy and I talk about traditional relationships, real loving relationships, but I understand and I accept people get married for different reasons. And there are people who live completely separate lives, but they look great in pictures, but they don't speak a word to each other in the car on the way there or on the way back. I want those inside jokes. I want that laughter that nobody else in the room knows what's going on. I want those slow mornings and caring for each other and genuine love that nobody will ever see, but is so fulfilling. So ladies, you have to ask yourself, what is important to you and what really matters? And what are you willing to just say, you know what? None of that matters. All right, let's see. Mom, what's for dinner says social media can be the downfall of great relationships. Oh, we already talked about the ex lurking. Yes, absolutely. Discipled One says the athlete saw her coming. Oh dear. And Patterson says looks are not everything. What about our character? That's true, ladies. And you can ask yourself, and it's sad, but have you turned down a man of good character because he didn't look the way you wanted him to? You didn't like his hair or lack of hair. You didn't like the car that he drove. You were embarrassed of the job that he did, even though he did the backbreaking work that you weren't willing to do. He wasn't 6'4" or whatever you think you need, or the six pack, any of these things. That man's going to make somebody a good husband. So we all have to live with our choices. Discipled One says the best thing a woman is to yes to their man and no, some people a heck no to everyone else. Understood. Jurgen says everyone in the entertainment industry lives in their own world that has nothing to do with normal people. So yeah, I mean, the lesson for this is, ladies, social media is not real. It's what people want you to see. I mean, there's moments there, but you really have to hopefully invest more in the life that you have in the real world and not the virtual world. Discipled One says the best thing. Oh, I said that one already. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying, and we're going to wrap this up. Mom, what's for dinner says marriage asks of you things you didn't know you had in you. So if you didn't get married for the right reasons, it will show. Truer words have not been spoken. Yes, those of you all, unfortunately, I mean, circling back to what Lucy said as we close out, whoever made the comment about because we're over 40, we don't really have a lot of dating experience, which to me is a compliment, not having a lot of dating experience. Marriage and commitment really does require a lot of you. And it requires you to be probably more honest than you've ever been, because you can't get away. None of us can fake the funk forever, right? If you send out your representative in the world, give it a year, give it 2 years, give it 10 years. The true you is going to come out. So like he said at the very beginning of that video, if you got married for the pictures, for the cake to post, for the dress, because of whatever reason, the cracks will start to show. And then if your marriage doesn't survive, you find yourself out here doing it all over again. And then you can ask yourself, is it worth it? You can be that athlete talking about their glory days when high school and college sports has long since passed, or you can shut out the world and find the one that's right for you. Lucy and I are huge fans of the late, great Kevin Samuels. And he used to say, all you need is one. Find your match and get out of this dating market. Believe me, you will be happier. And look at Thane laughing. This was a short one, but this is a good one. Lucy, what would you say to close us out?
No, and that goes back to also what he said. Some people want the wedding and not the marriage. And if I were a man, if I had a girlfriend that spent her entire life thinking about how that wedding is going to look like, that should be red flag number 50, because I bet you that there are other red flags to get to that point that should have told you that person was only interested in the external validation than the real marriage. Because marriage takes time, takes work, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of giving up things, sacrifice too, learning that other person for year after year. If you have things, impactful things in your life, how does that person deal with them? How do you deal with it together? So again, if you get to the point where you are with someone that's more worried about everything else but the relationship, then maybe you should take a step back and say, maybe we need more time to see how we are going to be together, if this is something long term or if it was just for now.
Such a good point. So I want to give you young ladies, especially, some tangible things that you can do. And Lucy said, that man may say, let's take a step back. Ladies, you may not even be getting a step forward, because we live in the world today where people look you up before they even reach out. And your social media presence is part of your digital footprint. Are we saying shut it all down and live under a rock? No. But ladies, scrub your own social media. How do you show up if you're seeing yourself for the first time? Is it all pictures of you in a certain pose? Would you want the man of your dreams and his mother and his pastor and his network to see you like that? You can also think about, how are you using your social media? Is it only to promote you in all of your best glowed up moments? Are you doing anything that's useful? Are you learning anything? Are you sharing anything that's helpful? How often are you on social media? And this is from someone who's on social media every day. I try to post content that is helpful, a little fun stuff, a little family stuff, but just make sure that it's balanced. If everything is about you looking completely perfect and, snatched and professional makeup and all of that, men know that's not real. You're not fooling anyone. So oftentimes, because, like I've told you, ladies, men think long term. They're not just thinking about this picture about you drunk with your girlfriends on a trip. They're thinking, okay, that's who she is. So if we ever have a compromising situation, she's the type that's going to want to share our, personal business, family matters, health matters, financial matters with the world. Do you have videos, TikToks of you crying to the world about bad breakups? Okay, that's who she is. If we have any stress in our marriage, she's going to go howling at the moon for everyone to have an opinion about something that they have no concern about. If you're sharing things with other people, he may be thinking, is she going to put our kids on the internet? Is she even going to allow them to live their own life or get to, certain teenage years? So just think about that and how it may hurt you. And if you wonder why, maybe somebody that you're interested in took a hard pass, maybe they saw what you had projected and they said, you know what? No, men are low key, men are private. And that is your tip. If he's not already on social media, that's what my man said. The amount of social media that he wants with you is the amount of social media that he has already on his own. So if he's not already on social media, do not drag him out on stage for everyone to pick him apart. And then you're at home like, you don't do anything. You don't take me anywhere. You don't buy me all these things, when before that you were just happy. All right. So this was a good one. Thane says, no, please continue. Okay. Our sponsor says, no, please continue with social media. Tell on thyself. Thank you very much. Ladies, he's laughing, but it's true. There are some people that warm up their popcorn because you're good for it. You are good for the content. You all have seen these women that every time they go on a date, as soon as the date is over, here they go live to tell you everything about it. Who does that? And there's somebody on the other end like, yep, let's watch this crash out. And that's what you're remembered for. Discipled One says, men think long term. Put that phrase in every female space if you want a man. Oh, they're coming out of the woodworks today. BLJ says, we will continue to watch and judge your social media. Remember, us men enjoy a good show. All right, ladies. Well, now that we have been scared straight and your hair is on fire, hopefully, in all seriousness, this was helpful. Hello, Sherry from Costa Rica. Can't wait to see you soon. A little bit of tough love from Auntie Maggie and Tia Lucy, but if you want to prioritize your relationship, prioritize your man's privacy. And I promise you, you will be the happier for it. So we will see you all on our next one. Lucy and I are with you all twice a week. So we will be back Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for more relationship content from older women, if that's helpful for you. And again, teachablemoments.maggie.com for the meetup. And then the class that starts next Saturday, you can use $50 off with the code WIFE if you want private teaching in a classroom with us. All right. Well, with that, we will say... Oh, thank you to our sponsor. We appreciate you. There are no words. Saying thank you for the $200. So grateful. So Scarlett on Instagram says, thank you, ladies, for the advice. I'm a young wife that wants longevity and happiness in my home life. That makes my day. Scarlett, go to my website and fill out the Young Wives Club. I have a free community of creating a sanctuary for women who prioritized marriage in their prime. All right. And with that, we will say adios.
Yes.